Welcome to Talk Fluent English, the place where English becomes real, natural, and useful.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Fluent English. I'm Nora, and as always, I'm here with Kamal. We're really happy you're spending your free time with us today, and yes, that sentence already tells you today's topic.
Hey everyone, welcome back. And before we start, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this podcast. It really helps the channel grow and it helps other learners find real English conversations like this one.
Exactly. And today's topic is something we all love, we all complain about, and sometimes we don't even know how to talk about it in English.
Free time.
Free time. That beautiful idea. Sometimes we have too little of it, sometimes we waste it, and sometimes we feel guilty when we finally get it.
Yes, free time is funny. When you're busy, you dream about it. When you finally have it, you don't know what to do with it.
So true. And today, we're not just talking about free time as an idea. We're learning how to talk about free time in real, natural English, the way people actually speak.
We'll talk about routines, hobbies, relaxing, feeling bored, feeling busy, and even feeling guilty about doing nothing.
And if you're listening right now, ask yourself this question. What do you usually do in your free time?
If your answer is, I don't know how to say it in English, don't worry, by the end of this episode, you will.
So, Kamal, let me start with a very simple question. When people ask you, what do you do in your free time? How do you usually answer?
Honestly, I usually pause for a second, not because I don't have free time, but because I want to answer naturally, not like a textbook.
That pause is very real. Many English learners feel the same. They know the words, but they don't know how to connect them naturally.
Exactly. Instead of saying something long and complicated, I usually say something simple like, in my free time, I like to relax and do simple things.
That sentence is perfect, simple, clear, and very natural. You didn't say anything fancy, but it sounds real.
Yes, because native speakers often speak simply about free time. They don't say, I engage in recreational activities. They say, I just chill, or I hang out, or I relax at home.
That's such an important point. English learners often think they need big words, but free time language is usually very relaxed. Let's talk about weekdays versus weekends. Do you feel like your free time is different on weekdays?
Absolutely. On weekdays, my free time is usually short, maybe 1 hour in the evening. And honestly, I don't want to do anything productive.
Yes, that feeling of my brain is done for today.
Exactly. So I might say, after work, I usually just watch something or scroll on my phone.
That's very honest English, and that's okay. Free time doesn't always mean doing something impressive.
Yes, some learners feel ashamed to say, I watch videos or I do nothing, but native speakers say that all the time.
Let's practice a few natural sentences together. You can say, I usually relax after work. I don't do much on weekdays. I'm usually too tired to go out.
Those sentences sound normal, not lazy. Normal.
Now let's talk about weekends. Weekends feel different, right?
Very different. On weekends, free time feels longer and there's more pressure to use it well.
Yes, that pressure is real. People often ask, what did you do this weekend? And suddenly you feel like you need a good story.
Even if you just stayed home.
And staying home is completely fine. You can say, I had a quiet weekend, or I stayed in and relaxed.
Those are great phrases. A quiet weekend is very common English.
Let's move to hobbies. This is one of the most common free time topics in conversations.
Yes, and it's also where many learners feel stuck. They think hobbies must be special.
But hobbies can be simple. Reading, cooking, walking, watching movies, listening to music.
Even drinking coffee and thinking counts.
Absolutely. And the way you talk about hobbies matters. Instead of saying, my hobby is reading books, you can say, I enjoy reading in my free time.
Or, lately I've been into cooking. That sounds very natural.
Let's explain that phrase. I've been into. It means something you enjoy recently.
Yes, I've been into podcasts. I've been into fitness. I've been into learning English.
That last one is my favorite. Now let's talk about something important. Doing nothing.
Ah, yes, the activity that everyone does but nobody talks about.
Doing nothing is actually a big part of free time, and in English, people talk about it a lot.
They say things like, I just did nothing, or I was lazy, or I just chilled.
And chill is such a powerful word. To chill means to relax without stress.
You can say, I chilled at home, or I just chilled all day.
Very natural, very real. But sometimes free time is not relaxing. Sometimes it makes people uncomfortable.
Yes, especially when people feel guilty for not being productive.
That guilt is very common, and English has phrases for that too.
You can say, I felt guilty for wasting my time, or I felt like I should be doing something.
Those sentences express emotions, not just actions, and that's advanced communication. Let's imagine a real conversation. Someone asks you, what do you usually do in your free time?
You don't need a perfect answer. You can say, it depends. Sometimes I'm busy, sometimes I just relax.
That sentence alone sounds fluent.
Yes, because free time is flexible. It changes.
Before we continue, I want everyone listening to think about this. What do you enjoy doing when nobody is watching?
That's your real free time.
And learning how to talk about that in English is powerful because it helps you connect with people.
Exactly. Free time conversations build friendships. You know, Nora, something interesting about free time is that people describe it very differently depending on their age.
That's true. When you're a student, free time feels endless. When you start working, it suddenly becomes very precious.
Yes, and that changes the language people use. A student might say, I have a lot of free time, but an adult often says, I don't get much free time.
That phrase, I don't get much free time, is extremely common, much more natural than I do not have enough leisure.
Exactly. And sometimes people even joke about it. They say, free time? What's that?
Yes, that joke works in many cultures. It shows you're busy, but also a little tired.
And humor is very important when talking about daily life. Free time conversations are often light and relaxed.
Let's talk about evenings, because evenings are the most common free time moment for many people.
True. After work or school, people usually talk about how they unwind.
Unwind, that's a great verb. It means to relax after stress.
You can say, in the evening, I like to unwind by watching something or listening to music.
Very natural. And notice you didn't say what you watch. You don't need details.
Yes, details are optional. English conversation doesn't need to be perfect or complete.
Some people use their free time actively. Others use it quietly. Neither is better.
Absolutely. Someone might say, I like staying active in my free time, and another person might say, I prefer quiet time at home.
Both sentences are polite and clear. They also show personality.
That's why talking about free time is such a good topic for language learning. It's personal, but safe.
Now let's talk about boredom. Boredom is also part of free time.
Yes, sometimes you have free time, but no energy, no ideas, and no motivation.
And you can say that in English very simply. I'm bored. I don't know what to do.
Or, I have nothing to do today.
Very common sentence. And you can add emotion. I have nothing to do and it's driving me crazy.
That one is very real.
Let's imagine another real conversation. Someone asks, what do you do after work?
You can answer honestly. Honestly, not much. I'm usually tired.
That word honestly makes the sentence sound very natural and human.
Yes, English speakers use honestly a lot to sound real.
Free time also changes with the seasons.
That's true. In summer, people go out more. In winter, they stay in.
So in summer, you might say, I spend more time outside.
And in winter, I stay home more and relax.
Very simple, very fluent. Now let's talk about weekends with friends.
Ah, yes, social free time.
People often say, I hang out with friends.
Hanging out is one of the most important free time phrases in English.
It doesn't mean doing something special, it just means spending time together.
Exactly. You can hang out at home, in a cafe, or just walking.
Some learners think free time must be productive.
But English conversations show that rest is respected.
You can say, I needed some time to recharge.
Recharge, like a phone battery.
Exactly, and everyone understands that metaphor. Now let's practice reflection language, talking about past free time.
For example, last weekend I didn't do much, but it was nice.
That sentence is perfect, simple, relaxed, and positive.
Or, I finally had some time for myself.
That one sounds very adult. Now let's practice reflection language, talking about past free time.
For example, last weekend I didn't do much, but it was nice.
That sentence is perfect, simple, relaxed, and positive.
Or, I finally had some time for myself.
That one sounds very adult. Free time is also connected to self-care.
Yes, but you don't need that word. You can say, I needed a break.
I took a break is extremely common.
You can take a break from work, from people, or even from your phone.
Now I want to ask everyone listening something.
Yes, this is important.
When was the last time you truly relaxed?
Not just free time, real rest.
If you can answer that in English, even with simple words, you're doing great.
And remember, fluency doesn't come from perfect sentences.
It comes from honest ones.
Free time conversations are about being human, not impressive.
Exactly, and that's why we love this topic so much. Before we finish, Kamal, I want to talk about one quiet side of free time that people don't always mention.
The moments when you're alone, right?
Yes, those moments when there's no noise, no plans, no messages.
Some people feel uncomfortable with that kind of free time.
And others really need it.
In English, you can say, I enjoy spending time alone. And that sounds confident, not strange.
Exactly. Or you can say, I need some alone time to think.
That sentence is very respectful. It shows boundaries.
Free time helps us understand what kind of rest we need.
And it helps us communicate that to others.
Sometimes free time is planned, and sometimes it surprises us.
Yes, a meeting gets canceled or a class ends early.
And then people say, I suddenly had some free time.
Suddenly is a great word there.
You might also hear, I didn't expect to have free time today.
Very natural, very common.
Let's talk about guilt, because many people feel guilty during free time.
Especially adults.
Yes, they say things like, I feel like I should be doing something.
That sentence says a lot.
It shows pressure, not language problems.
And you can answer gently. It's okay to rest.
That sentence is powerful and simple. Free time also helps creativity.
Absolutely. When the mind is relaxed, ideas come naturally.
You can say, I get my best ideas when I'm relaxed.
Or, free time helps me think clearly.
Those sentences are useful in work conversations too. Now let's imagine someone asking you, what do you usually do in your free time?
You don't need a long answer.
You can say, it depends on my mood.
That's a perfect answer.
Or, sometimes I'm active, sometimes I just rest.
Very balanced, very real.
Free time is not about being interesting.
It's about being honest.
And honest English sounds confident even when it's simple.
That's why we encourage learners to talk about daily life.
Before we end, let's give everyone one last practice sentence.
Just one.
In my free time, I feel most relaxed when...
Finish that sentence in your own way.
Say it slowly.
Say it clearly.
And don't worry about mistakes.
Your free time is your space.
Your English practice can live there too.
Thank you for spending your free time with us today.
We truly appreciate it.
Keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep being patient with yourself.
And we'll see you again very soon.
Thanks for listening.